So if you want to introduce the dream and see, obviously, is it a man or a woman, and
Yes, I will
what
do it.
age
I have
bracket are
to.
they in? I
I
mean,
will
basic
find it.
information is probably
Yes, this is um, this is a dream. It was a woman she sent it to me a couple of days ago. Uh, she want
okay.
she wanted us to have a look into it. She's a psychotherapy student and has done some work on herself, some good work on herself,
Yeah,
I'd say.
okay.
So she's not a beginner,
Okay.
and I think
Okay, well, do you
actually
want to
the
start
dream.
off? Will I start off, or what way do you want to work it?
I can start off on this. I think I can I'll read out the dream, read it out loud.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
She writes, I'm in a bed in a room I don't recognize. Within the dream, I get the feeling that this is going to be a familiar nightmare where a very deep and scary darkness appears. But then I notice the room is brightly lit. On a separate bed next to me are crayons, and other art supplies, and my sister's dog. The dog folds herself into a large piece of paper. Her presence calms me. Then I stand up facing a young man in Viking clothes. He says, my symbol is in your beard. I touch my beard to confirm that he sees me as a Viking man and not myself. Then we have eye contact for a long time. His gray blue eye turn more and more white until his whole eye area becomes milky white. Then I go to an introduction meeting at a psychotherapist school. I have to put on way too much spray tan in my face. I meet a friend there who tells me it doesn't look too bad, but I know that's not true.
Yeah.
And that's the
Okay.
end of the dream.
Yeah, so it's fairly straightforward, if you like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at first appearance anyway.
It
Um,
is, it is. I was I was thinking about this room that she doesn't recognize. It's probably like a space in the psyche that she's exploring. You
yeah,
see?
I'd see that as the space where she can explore rather than like the room is it's like she's not recognizing it.
No,
It's a foreign place for her. So
it
I would
is.
see that perhaps as being the therapy space or a workspace that she can sort of go to um and find rest in that place or spend time in that place. If I'm in a bed in a room I don't recognize. Well, what she's hoping to rest, rejuvenate, whatever. But I'd see the white space. I notice the room is brightly lit, so it's a conscious
It's a
space.
bright. It is a conscious space. Exactly, exactly.
So for her, what represents a conscious space might be the school that she's going to or wanting to go to, or the therapy room, or it's creating a space where she can rest and work. Now, there's also the significance of bedroom and stuff like that in it, which might have personal associations for her. But she within the dream, I get the feeling there's going to be a familiar nightmare. So what is she referring to there? The familiar nightmare or the process? The
Yeah,
process is the familiar nightmare. So
yeah,
going through
yeah,
this
yeah.
process
Mm-hmm.
is like entering into my old familiar nightmare. So there's something about exposure and opening up and
Yes, Stuart, and can I say something here?
yeah,
Because it's also like in the first little part of the dream, it's like she has an expectation that this is going to be a familiar
yeah,
nightmare,
yeah, yeah.
but bing, surprise, surprise. No, it's not.
The
It's
process
brightly
of
lit.
becoming conscious
Exactly,
is
exactly.
going to be a familiar nightmare. So what is her familiar nightmare? Where a very deep and scary darkness appears.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
see? So,
yeah.
so the darkness actually is her friend, even though it appears as the enemy. The darkness is what will turn into brightness. The darkness is what's going to be transformed inside of her. She's starting off in the darkness, and with every step she takes, she's moving towards the brightly lit space inside of her mind,
Yeah,
mind, heart. So the journey is away from the familiar nightmare, not
yeah.
as she believes it to be. But you could work with that section of the dream very well
You
just by
could, you
setting up the
could, you
room.
could, but I would say it's at I get the associations to, it's not just room, it's a very like intimate room. It's a bedroom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not a living room or the kitchen but it's the
Not
bedroom.
public
So
space.
it's not a public space, no,
No.
exactly. So, and she has the crayons there. She has there's tools she can use, and then
Yeah, yeah.
a dog wrapped in
Oh,
paper.
that's the next bit of it.
It is
But
the
no,
next bit.
the
It's
first
a
paragraph
female dog.
actually sort of sets the scene of the dream.
It
As,
does.
as the dream creator writes the dream, it's setting the scene for it. And I think that first paragraph is really saying if it was a dream for the therapist, I what I'd be getting from that is okay, there's a big defense here. This is a familiar nightmare. The person has a defense up about entering into the process. So engagement is really important. The space needs to be safe.
Yeah.
So slowly, 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 in order that she can feel safe within the process, so that the process is not being done to her,
Yes.
where
Yes.
she's doing the process herself.
Yes.
That's what I would get from that first paragraph. And it's a journey from darkness, unconsciousness into awareness. So even that, doing an exercise around the journey from unconsciousness into awareness, uh, as a way of working with this dream would be, I think, a useful exercise to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
want you to pick a place where you want to begin, take a step.
But
Okay,
then she
take
has the
another step.
crayons, Stuart. The dream provides her with crayons, with
Yeah, yeah. Then the next paragraph, yeah.
and yeah, exactly. So she has everything she needs. She needs there for this.
So to work creatively with this
Exactly. Exactly.
on a
And
separate on a
also
separate
that
bed
it's a
next to me.
dog. Exactly. That the dog is more like instinctual. So
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
so
Also,
so
I
the
was thinking the family shadow,
sister's dog.
the
How,
family shadow.
how do you?
It's sort of close enough, but not terribly far away. It's like for somebody with a big defense, where are they going to put their shadow outside of them? So maybe there's something in the sister relationship, but maybe also that's the family shadow sitting there, and it's sitting under the sister's name. If it's a
Hmm.
woman, well, then her sister will represent part of her own shadow. But I'd see the dog as a shadow aspect, and it's also man's best friend.
It is.
But in this one, on a separate bed next to me are crayons. The separate bed could be the therapist, her bed,
But the
and
dog is there,
separate bed.
Stuart.
Yeah, yeah.
The dog is there on the second bed, and the dog is a female dog. It can also be like a guidance principle. I have a tendency to see it like that because it calms her.
I think the dream needs to. I think it needs a second person to work with it. I don't think this is a dream. I think certain dreams you can do completely on your own. I think this
Yeah,
dream would require an assistant, if you like,
yeah,
just to
yeah,
bounce it back.
exactly.
Uh,
I have this feeling that there's a lot of shadow in it.
yeah, the
But
sister's
where
dog,
I
another
see the
generation.
shadow, I see it in the beard. The
Well,
blue beard.
that's the jumping ahead bit is
Oh,
something that needs to be slowed down. You see, now you're jumping ahead
I did. I did.
twice,
Yes, I did it twice. I did it
whereas
twice.
I'm slowing you down. So I
Yes.
think my sense is the person needs to approach it slowly, and
Oh,
not
that's
not
great.
to try and get the whole process done in one sitting.
Exactly.
You see? But
exactly,
to
exactly.
realize this dream is about an entire process,
It is. And
not
that
just
is
one.
exactly the split that I know this person. So it's exactly the split. One part is going like boom, very
Yeah, yeah,
fast, and another part is going almost like frozen still.
yeah.
So it is these two parts that has to come together. That was really good. That was
So on the
good scene.
separate bed next to me is the material art material supplies sister's dog. Dog is interesting. The dog
Yes.
folds herself. The dog is less evolved than sister, the sister shadow, but the dog represents something perhaps more unconscious, but also something more maybe friendly. It might be
Mm.
more available to her to work with than uh, anyway. That's just by the way. The dog folds herself into a large piece of paper. I think that's just saying this is how you work with it. Put it all down on paper.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
The dog's presence calms what in her?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Her anxiety, her stress.
I was thinking if it's true what you say there or not true, but if we're going in that direction with the dog as the family shadow, sister and the dog, and that uh, when you are traumatized, being a part of that whole system, the whole shadow, the whole part is like it's calming. You
Yeah,
get what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah, you lose your identity into the collective.
Yeah, exactly.
But that
Exactly.
self-sacrifice, as she moves toward a brightly lit place, as she moves to a space of more self-awareness, this she does so by being calm.
Yeah.
The dog is guiding
Yeah.
her in this, her presence calms me.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe also doing some breathing exercises.
Hmm.
Do you see that this is working with uh, not just working on the content, but working to skill up the person themselves, not
Hmm.
just working on the story, but working on the person who's in the story, lost in the story,
Yes.
giving the tools
Yes.
directly to the person so that they can engage directly with their process rather than have the other person, you or me or somebody else, work it out for them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but the dream are providing her with these tools, don't you think?
Yeah, but to ground them out in herself, to
Yes.
make them her
Yeah.
own,
Yes, exactly.
to own that skill set.
Exactly.
Then the next paragraph, I stand up facing a young man in Viking clothes. He
Yeah.
says, "My symbol is in your beard. I touch my beard to confirm that he sees me as a Viking man and not myself." Then we have eye contact for a long time, and the blue gray eyes, blah, 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 turn white and all that. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is interesting because it's introducing the counter gender, whereas the dream ego is now seeing itself as male.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and there's this jumping to a cultural level, Viking
The
culture.
Viking. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's a strength can come, there's something can come from culture, the family dynamic, the dog, the
Yes.
sister,
Mm-hmm.
the intimate space, uh, can gain something by just being part of belonging to the culture. So,
Yes.
so maybe it's saying something about the family. Maybe it's saying something about the history, the generational history in the family. And also then you got the whole symbolism of Bluebeard
Yeah, I
and
was
all
thinking
that.
about that. I couldn't get it out of my head.
Yeah, yeah, touching my symbol is in your beard.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the white aspect coming into the eyes, albedo, this alchemical shift towards white, that
Yes.
also is the soul connection, white being symbolic of the soul.
Yes.
So it's like nearly there's the anima in
It's
the
almost
dream.
like a transition, isn't it?
It's a transformational space. It's like suddenly you leave the intimate space, the personal space behind you in the dream, and now you're into this strange space.
Yes,
It's
yes,
different.
yes,
It's been shifted to a different level. And beard, like the whole, what is a beard? Well, it's
yeah,
facial hair.
yeah,
It would
yeah,
represent some type of energy or thinking, but it's around the mouth, something to do with speaking, something to do with you know. So there could be lots of different connections in that. It could be
exactly.
referring back to a very early wound, the oral stage of development.
Good.
It could be a symbol of the animus, the voice. My symbol is in the beard. It could be the development of the anima from the bluebeard stage
Yes,
forward.
yes. But the white is here again, and the white, there was also bright white in the beginning. So if we look at it from an alchemical point of view, it was like what you said, the whitening phase.
The whitening phase, but that also being significant of anima. So the woman being able to see herself through her feminine eyes,
Yes.
and that holding a place where she can then start to grow, like the
Mm.
whole eye area becomes milky white.
Yes.
Also milky white, not pure white,
Yeah, yeah,
milky
yeah,
white.
yeah.
So the whole principle of good enough,
Yes.
not
Yes.
perfectionistic.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not bright and shiny white, it's milky white.
Yeah,
There's a
it's a bit
difference there. Yeah.
imperfect, like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
milky white milk, as well,
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
It should be, it's bringing in, it's like nearly in the dream. If I was working with this and we come to that part of the dream, I'd be sort of saying, okay, this is where we shift levels. Okay, so what level do we go to? Well, we could go into the family, the generational level. We could go into the cultural level. We could go into the analytical level.
Say
Move into
something
the
about that.
moving into the process
Yeah.
rather than staying with the person at the
Mhm.
center of the process, moving into the process itself, educating the person about the animus, about the process of the animus and the anima and all of those sort of things.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. I
it's all part of the transformational aspect.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
I,
is
I
where
get
this
you on
is
that,
where the
Stuart.
alchemy happens.
It reminded me of some work I did many years ago about this man also with he was coming up from under the I had killed him and and he was like sneaking up as a ghost and he had this one milky white eye and I was having this thought in my head that it could be like, I'm blinded. There's one eye blinded out to the world, so now it looks inside and meets the anima.
Hmm.
It's done. I can't look with
Yeah,
both
yeah. One
to the
inside, one
world.
outside.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
That's good. Yeah, yeah.
I had
Absolutely.
a thought about around that.
But see, in a way, the way that the dream is written, the way that the dream has been experienced, is first of all the first paragraph is like giving you orientation as to what the dream is. This is about the process about becoming conscious. Then the
Yes.
second paragraph is okay, so what we need you to do is work on your shadow and
Yeah.
calm yourself down.
Yes.
And then the third paragraph is once you've done that, working in the shadow is going to give you some interior sight, and calming yourself down will give you the right state of mind to go
Yes.
further. Once you've done both of those things, then we can start looking at the deeper levels in all directions,
Yes.
which is the third paragraph, which is where the real transformation really begins, not the preparatory work of working on your shadow. And then you get into the fourth paragraph,
Exactly. Exactly.
which
And
is
that's
now
more
I'm
like a
ready to go
persona
to the
problem, isn't
meeting.
it?
Say again.
I was thinking that was more of a persona
Yeah,
issue or something, because we know with the makeup and with her, how she appears in the outer world.
yeah, but then the
But
final stage is like
she
dismantling
knows
the
it's not
defense.
true. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know it's not true.
The defense is not going to come down in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the final stages of this process. So the dream could be applying to a process that's years long.
Yes.
This dream could be as relevant in 3 or 4 years' time as it is today,
Yes.
because it's a map. The dream is giving the person a map of how to approach their own process.
Yeah.
It's saying how to work,
Yeah.
what to work on, what order to work on it, and what to expect.
It's magic, isn't it?
So the whole dream is complete in itself. Yeah. Anything else in that? The spray tan. Okay. I then go into instruction meeting. I put way too much spray tan on my face. Okay. So there's the defense.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
remain
Yeah.
hidden. I meet a friend there who tells me it doesn't look too bad, but I know that's
I
not true.
know it's not
So
true.
her own negative self-image, her own appearance, how she appears to herself.
Yeah.
She's doubting her own, good enough. So there's
Yeah.
the perfectionism coming in again.
Yeah.
The want for control and the want for let me go back on the story just one more time.
Yeah. 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 I understand that.
You
Yes.
see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
Exactly.
do the
Exactly.
lap of pain
Yes.
and suffering just one more time.
Yes. Exactly.
Don't tell me my story is over. Don't heal me or fix me or anything
It's
like
it's
that.
a strange thing, isn't it? To be kind of addicted to your own suffering.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Identified with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Identified with it definitely, but there's
Yeah.
also it would if it's if if we're going that direction, what you say with the sister's dog, this thing of suffering, but I'm suffering, but there's also some well-known now I'm safe because I know the suffering.
Yeah, well, you
It
see,
can be
why the sister?
what?
You'd need the person in the room to ask them, why
Yeah,
have
yeah,
they put the
exactly.
sister into the dream? Now,
Yeah,
it could be the whole competition aspect, like two sisters. She could be a helpful influence or she could be a negative influence. It
yeah,
could be highlighting a relationship issue that is relevant for the person, that
yes.
they're in competition with people,
As far as I remember, it's a bigger sister. She's some years older than
living
this
up to an
person here.
expectation then
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
perhaps.
yeah, probably. And then this
But see, that's all
what is
shadow
that
work.
team? Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Whereas the third paragraph is much more how they how nearly like the second paragraph is about discovery and the third paragraph is about sitting into yourself, following the discovery.
Yes. Mm. I
If the
can't.
person was to ask me the question, is it right that I attend a psychotherapy school? I would say, based on this dream, I would say it's the only way forward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Their
exactly.
process wants to work on itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
ready.
It is ready. I can't stop thinking as the dog as a guiding principle somehow, but that the shadow can be the same. I am aware of that, but it folds. It's a female dog, and it folds she folds herself into this paper. She's kind of showing the way, isn't she?
She is, yeah. And there's significance in that, but you need more information
Yeah, 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 absolutely,
regarding the dog, the sister, the family way,
absolutely,
all
absolutely.
of that. But bringing the dog into the room, if you like, her presence calms me.
Yeah,
So there's a projection on the dog.
yes,
There's a parental projection somehow been placed out into the dog.
Yes, yes. So it could also I was having this association of a like when you when you put babies into the sheets, or when
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, so the dog rolls itself into the paper,
wrapped up
the
tightly.
white
Yeah, yeah,
paper, like the baby can be wrapped up
yeah,
in
swaddling.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
I,
that parental projection out onto the dog, or that finding mother in the dog or finding father in the dog, um, obviously will be taken back. But the the dog itself, going back to the more interior significance. Why bring the dog into the room? Well, the dog has very acute hearing and very acute senses, and is a very helpful companion in the unconscious. It'll sniff out things and it'll
yeah,
bring things to dig holes and
exactly. And
recover
it's so
buried
loyal.
treasures. And
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
it's a
And
very,
you
very
can trust
handy.
it. Yeah, it's so loyal, she can trust it. Oh, are you there, Stuart? I think it was
Yeah,
lagging.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about? I was thinking also about when she looks at herself, she appears as a man. Is that like an animal's position, or how do you
Well, I
see
think
that?
the dream ego is showing that.
Yes,
The dream ego is not her, but the dream ego, it's introducing this level where masculinity is. So the dream ego is taking on the appearance of the man, and in a way, it's useful to leave it in the dream rather than take that out into the world. To leave the animus in the unconscious space, in the unconscious realm where it belongs. But maybe showing the dynamic of it to the person is the means whereby the animus can be kept in where it's required,
yes,
and rather than bringing it out into the world. In
yes,
other words,
exactly.
the education, the woman's education around her animus is vitally important,
Hmm.
because in doing therapy and all that sort of work, the therapy is not for the animus. The therapy is for the woman.
For her, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it would be easy to jump over the person, the dreamer, and jump into the animus at that point and develop the animus.
Oh, that thing, I think that
Yeah,
would be a wrong direction.
yeah, but the
Oh,
animus needs to be developed by the woman
yes,
herself.
exactly, exactly.
So this is what I'm saying,
Yeah,
not to get caught up in the process. The dream
yeah,
is not, the dream is about the process, but the
yes,
dream is more,
not the process. Exactly. Mm.
the
Mm.
dreamer, her process.
Oh, I didn't hear that,
Hang
Stuart.
on,
You were
how
like,
freezing up there.
yeah, it was freezing. Sorry. What did you say?
I can go out and check to see. I hope the internet has not been used here. It might be. That's what happens when it is. I'll just check it.
Yeah, it looks good enough here in my end.
Yeah, I'll just check.
Mm.
Oh, it's not. It's just bad connection or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay. But I think we came pretty good around this one, didn't we?
yeah, I think that dream is more or less done now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, everything that's been said on it.
yeah.
What do you reckon?
Uh, yeah. I still have I have this feeling, that about a confrontation. There's like a confrontation, exactly like the fairy tale with the blue with Bluebeard, this young woman was coming to his place, and she could visit his mansion, and she could visit all the rooms except one. And of course she was curious and got in there, and then she saw all the corpses of his previous wives. You know, good she did that. And then she got some help from her brother and other her sisters also, I guess, and confronted him, Bluebeard. So it's like I have this feeling
Yeah, but
that a
that's
confrontation somehow,
yeah,
or
yeah.
you know, be-
But I think the corpse that she's likely to find is not so much the corpse belonging to Bluebeard. It's her own deep and very deep and scary darkness.
it's the shadow aspects, of course.
The
I
shadow aspects of
absolutely
herself. Yeah,
exactly. That's all. And
yeah,
I think I have this feeling she has to just stand there. It was so perfect
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what happened in the beginning. I just jumped and jumped and jumped. I was so eager, and I could just feel this. And by being stopped, you
yeah.
know, I gained so much more. I
Brings
feel
everything
that
back.
that's the way for her.
Yeah,
Like, stand still, close one eye out into the world, and just have one eye out there and the other one on
yeah,
the side, and just stay in this room.
yeah.
Stay here. That's all. It's
Absolutely,
not
yeah.
as dark as you thought. Actually, it's bright. So I think it requires that she stands still and just open her eye into this room.
And that's why I say to you, this dream is equally as important in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years'
Yeah,
time
exactly,
as it
exactly,
is today.
exactly,
It's relevant. The dream is not specifically for this moment, it's for all moments.
exactly. It's almost it's a big dream, isn't it? It's almost like
What is?
a template for how
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah, exactly. It's showing
How
all
do you
aspects
individuate? Yeah,
in it.
exactly, exactly.
Now, the bit at the very end, I put on way too much spray tan on my face. I meet a friend who tells me it doesn't look too bad, but I know that's not true. That's that that there is, if you like, the beginning of the next dream. Do you know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
another dream going to
absolutely.
come from
Yes,
that.
yes, yes,
It's
yes.
showing you, okay, this is not finished.
Yeah, yeah.
There's more to come.
Yeah,
It's nearly like unfinished business at the end of the process. The process has not finished.
yes.
It's like part two. Here we go.
Dream on, baby.
Dream on, exactly.
Exactly.
And the whole thing about spray tan, you could lift that out of the dream and start there. Literally
Yeah,
start with that image.
yeah,
You could work with that image, bring that into the group or into the floor, onto the paper and work with it. Um,
yeah.
how many layers
Exactly, exactly.
you scrape don't put paint on the page, take paint off the page.
Yes, yes,
Do
exactly,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
draw less and
Yeah,
show more.
yeah. Couldn't that be interesting if you bend the dream? You take the back, the end of the dream, bend it to the front of the dream, the beginning of the dream.
Yeah, yeah, go on.
I'm just playing with in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mind here, so that you take the end of the dream with the too much makeup, too much many layers, and you bend them and take them into this. She's in a room she don't recognize, as
Hmm.
you're saying, taking off the makeup.
It's
Uh,
herself she doesn't
familiar,
recognize.
familiar nightmare.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a familiar nightmare. Uh, and when she do that, the darkness, the scary darkness
yeah,
appears.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's basically a never like an ongoing process
yeah.
towards bigger awareness, basically, where
It's
all the
lubrous.
layers are gradually, all the
Well, the hubris fertilizes itself and gives birth to itself.
exactly the
All,
Ouroboros process,
yeah, yeah.
really.
So,
Yeah,
so it's spontaneously creative.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
That
it's
was
a small
interesting.
dream, but it's a big dream.
It is exactly.
Yeah.
Was interesting. I will
So
I will end this recording now, Stuart, for now, and I will hope you will be here just with me. Just give me a minute.